Hi, everybody. This is Courtney Dade again here with the Phoenix Project, and I'm very excited to introduce Marcia Mariner. She's an amazing women empowerment coach, and she has a practice that she meets with people all the time, and she does a lot of other one-on-one and some great programs. She has amazing insight on the ways that we should be working through this next phase of reopening. And so I want to go ahead and give you the floor, Marcia, to just introduce yourself and tell everybody about you and what you do.
Thank you, Courtney. So honored to have this time with you and your audience at this exciting time in our on our planet and in our lives. The old ways aren't working. So
I love the way you said exciting time. That's probably not the way most people think about it, but that's why I'm like, okay, we got to get Marcia on here.
that reminds me of a woman who I learned from years ago who was an expert in anxiety. And I'll be quick about this, but she said she decided she wanted to go skiing, and she'd never skied before, and she was at the top of the mountain, and there was another woman next to her, and this particular woman was practicing, being more excited than anxious. So the whole way down the mountain she was smiling, and the other one was like terrified the whole way down. So the woman said, "What's your
I would have been
secret?"
me.
she said she asked, "What's your secret? You look like you're having so much fun." And she said, "Well, you're writing a story of fear, and I'm practicing getting excited." And so it's a choice I was making. And so she just was practicing activating those new neural networks that we all have access to, but it's a conscious choice. So we're all in this together, and we need to be focused and intentional on developing a place of
Awesome.
peace.
So
So
can you tell us everybody a little bit about you and your practice and what you do?
yes. So I'm a licensed therapist and a sacred feminine empowerment coach. And I work with visionary women who are waking up. They're tired of settling in their lives. A lot of women I work with are struggling with having a big dream. And when they expand into that, whether it's starting their own business or, having great health or great relationship, they start contracting in a trance of unworthiness and a scarcity mindset. And there's a lot of conditioning that is very common in women that I'm on the lookout for.
Hmm.
So a few years ago, I started I still see individuals, but I saw that women also needed education and training and practices. So I developed some programs and resources to support these awakening women, not just to heal, but to imagine the lives they want to live and that they feel that they're getting excited to live, and to create the container and the community for those dreams to be born, to be activated, and also to blossom fully. And so my experience is we can do a lot individually, but a lot of women, we really need each other to feel safe enough to talk about our dreams and to talk about our challenges, and also to hold each other accountable, but in a
Right.
loving way, an empowering way. And so that's the magic of the circles I create now, in addition to the one-on-one work, is to help women, get out of survival and start to make that shift into creating lives they love.
So
So
I imagine during this time you've had a lot of counseling and groups that you really have an insight to what a lot of people are experiencing. Is there a trend, or what's the overall feeling of how people are that you've worked with, and maybe even yourself? How are people moving through this process? I know that we're starting to move back into the reopening, and whereas I thought I would be really excited about being able to go to my favorite restaurant, I'm actually finding that I'm anxious about not knowing whether or not this is the right decision. Or I found a nice little pocket that in this shelter in place, and so now I have a sense of safety and comfort. And so yeah, am I alone in that, or like what's kind of going on? What's been your gauge as you've been working with people?
you're certainly not alone. And the responses are as unique as the person, right? So everyone's having their individual experience and their perception. And, we're moving into a time where we really need to learn how to ground in a neutral place within ourselves, a place where we can observe our feelings, our thoughts, our body's energy. Most importantly, I work a lot with this, as women, we have access to a profound energy of the heart, which is where I help women make the shift out of their survival, which is the mind-dominated functioning, into letting their heart lead them. And we've been taught we can't trust the knowing that we hold, that we can't trust the guidance we get. And so this is a profound opportunity for women to wake up to what I call their worth and their unique gifts, but especially in this stage, what I call their wisdom, their superpowers. And the one that is really being called right now, especially to be activated and being able to be accessed, is the power of intuition. It's that felt sense knowing in our womb and in our heart. We know, but we've been taught not to trust that. And I'll give you an example. Like, for example, you don't know if you're supposed to go to that restaurant, right? Mm-hmm. What happens when we go into, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Mm-hmm. A lot of times there's fear that comes up, and for many that can activate post-traumatic stress. In other words, a terror of not surviving or something bad happening. And so those are a lot of those conditioned patterns, sometimes from childhood and maybe even from past lives, from past trauma that's getting activated. And if women can learn to be aware of that and learn to be present to the present moment of what's showing up, we can then start to discern, is this a fear coming from my past? It's showing up for me to alchemize through healing, through love, through presence, maybe get some help with those energies? Or is this an intuition I'm having that I should or shouldn't go? So I help women distinguish a lot between maybe like supercharged fears, like they're intense, versus an intuition that may be telling them to go or not go. And I'll say one last thing about that is that most of us are taught to be anywhere but here in the moment.
Mm-hmm. I can get that. I understand that.
Yeah. And when we're anywhere but here in the moment, that's when our minds can disconnect. We can be in the past, we can be in the future. And that is a great predictor of the level of anxiety and stress and misery we experience, because we create stories about it. It's not even here. What's here now is that we have access in every moment to the breath, to our wisdom, and we need to learn how to trust that we are being shown in every moment. These are all spiritual teachings that a lot of us knew in our head, but now we're being invited to practice and go deeper into a trust in this realm that many of us have studied or gone to have involved with religious practices or spiritual practices, but it's not just like yoga on the mat now. It's in every moment of our life. We have to be devoted to those practices and develop a sense of a self-mastery. So.
Yeah, it's definitely been, I feel like I've experienced every emotion possible, and sometimes I think I have a grasp on it, and then something will happen and my emotions are just so amplified. I'm like, I don't got it together. Like I don't have it together. If there's one tool or strategy that you might be able to provide to kind of help people, I love the way you said this is an opportunity. Is there something that you could kind of give us that is like a single tool that's simple we could do in the moment to kind of anchor us back to that space of it being okay? Or what, do you have anything like that, like an emergency tool? Do you have an emergency tool for us?
I have a couple I could give you, and I will, but I'll first say to you, it's a part of what's going on right now is, you're right, we're amplified, we're doing really well, and then we're not doing well. And what I really want to convey is, it's not the feelings we're having that's the problem. The challenge is, how do we respond to those feelings? All of us can recognize if a 2-year-old's crying, how do we show up for that part? When we put presence and compassion on those, on those parts of ourselves that are fearful or falling apart, we tend to be able to shift out of that sooner. So really, my message is, don't be afraid of how you're feeling. In fact, get better at feeling those feelings. Know that that's a strength, and it's actually a superpower of women. We have a lot of access to the energy in motion, which is emotion. And when we allow it to move through us, it's a temporary thing, just like the weather. It can shift. it's our mind that needs to learn to be a friend or a foe to it. Like if it's resisting it and creating negative stories, then that's going to be a kingdom divided within us, right? So
Oh, that's so good. I'm like, ooh, embrace my emotions because I have them. They're just everywhere.
I did a Facebook Live about this the other day, and I realized it's a hot topic because I was saying every feeling we have is sacred. There's nothing wrong with us. I'm having intense emotion, but I've learned to welcome it all and learn from every emotion I have. It's my great teacher. I don't
Yeah.
resist it anymore because I know I'm being taught something. Either it's my feelings or I'm feeling feelings for the collective, and that we're all in this together. And we're not going to get out of it by resisting to feel what we feel, but to write a story. I have the strength to feel what I'm feeling. That's what I'm calling women forward, and to realize that the strength to choose to be vulnerable is truly authentic power, to let ourselves feel that.
That's
But that's
awesome.
that. I'll teach you a couple techniques if you want.
That's great. Well, actually, to kind of transition into that, I know that every time you and I have a conversation, I walk away feeling inspired, educated, empowered, and I know that other people need that right now, especially as we're in such uncertainty, and everybody in a different vision or region is experiencing something different. Different businesses are experiencing different things. Some industries are coming back and it's, just a few adjustments. Some industries may not come back at all. And so it's the not knowing that really is probably creating a lot of this anxiety. And so I know that you have a lot of powerful tools that you already have, and as well as some things that you're creating. So could you kind of just let people know what you have to offer so that I can provide information on how they can get in contact with you, check out your website, all that good stuff. But what are some of the things that you have now and that you're working on to support people during this time?
So I didn't know this at the time I created it. But I'm a practicing yogi and I do a lot of breath work. And one of the breath works was called a meditation for calm heart. That is a free gift on my website. It's called From Blah to Bliss. And it's actually a meditation, a breath work that Navy SEALs practiced when they were in highly stressful events. So that anybody can download on my website, marciamariner.com. So that would be a great resource. Again, anything that helps us get out of fight or flight quickly. A burning building, we need to know where the exit is. The time to figure out the exit isn't when it's happening.
Right.
So women, pay attention to when you start to get where there's smoke, there's fire, and how do you calm that down quickly? And so with practice, when you practice it, eventually it becomes second nature. Oh, I just remember to do this throughout my day. So you can check in with your breath regularly and anchor in your heart and anchor in your body as a place to have refuge and sanctuary in the midst of chaos outside. We can cultivate that calm. So that's a great resource. And so I also have a monthly gathering, but I'm going to lean into that a little bit because I am very clear that right now, the best thing anyone can do is find community of heart awakened visionaries that are stepping into leading with love and are committed to giving their gift to the shift upon us. These people that are consciously choosing to evolve through this, because we become like the people we associate with. And we have to really take care of our energy. We have to protect our energy from too much negativity or fear, because that can activate that trauma. And most women have some type of trauma history, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we can't afford to have that too activated without safe havens where we get to land and ground. So I have a monthly gathering of women, just once a month on the third Wednesday online. But I also have smaller circles. Some are heart healing circles. Some are women, stepping into their vision in their business. So I really try to organize those circles according to what that woman might be needing. And sometimes they just come to the monthly one and they're not ready for anything else, and that's fine. But I also have an 8-week Sacred Worth Accelerated program for any woman who struggles with that trance of unworthiness and a scarcity mindset. And that's a self-study. I often will do it live, but right now it's just a product for sale. And if somebody wants to purchase that and meet with me individually, they could do that. And then in the summer, my husband and I are launching a program together to help women value themselves more and experience what it's like to be in the presence of a male that has great reverence for women and empowers them to be their best selves. And it's very grounding and healing to be transmitting these new energies with him. So we're creating a program. It won't just be for women, but it will be for men that are feeling called to balance their inner masculine and inner feminine as well. So yeah.
One of the greatest things that we talked about when we first met was how, as in business, before all of this happened, just in general, how in business oftentimes as women we have to, or we feel like we have to display a lot of masculine energy in order to survive in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we had one conversation where you described the feminine warrior, I believe it was, where it was taking all the power and strength of being a woman and still surviving in that space. And as an entrepreneur, a mother, like all these complex things, but also wanting to survive in a very male dominated business world, that has hit me and stuck with me. And so it was just like one of the most amazing things I'd ever heard. I was like, this is it. This is who I want to be. It's like, I want to work towards walking in and, being confident in my femininity and not being embarrassed about being a woman amongst men. And as we move into this next phase, the Phoenix Project is encouraging all people, all business owners, is like, let's create the business landscape, because it's been reset. So now is the time to walk in with a different level of confidence. And so, I highly encourage people to look into your programming, because just any little nugget that you give me, I always walk out feeling a little more confident and balanced in who I am and who I want to be. So I definitely thank you for that. So just not to take up too much more time, but just kind of wrapping up, is there any final thoughts that you have or advice for business owners and entrepreneurs during this time that you want to leave everyone with?
Well, the very first step in my 5-step process is called the Me First movement. And I don't want anyone to get confused about that. It means we can't afford to not put our well-being first. It's not a luxury to take good care of ourselves. So when we get on an airplane, we hear that. Women, parents take, your own oxygen mask on first. And we need a lot of that right now because times are so stressful. So if there's any advice I could give, I would suggest every woman create time to put themselves first. I call it the hour of power, and a lot of my clients get resistant to that, to get up early. No, I can't wait to have an hour with just me. But over time, they fall in love with investing in their well-being first, because the energy we take in is the energy we put out there. And that creates a field that actually attracts truly what we want more of into our lives. So we are very powerful, and I am delighted that you're starting to value. And I'm going to call you to really fully celebrate and embrace your magnificence as a woman.
I love it.
Rising up to lead in the new paradigm with love.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for this time. I appreciate it. This had so much great information, and my heart is full once again, just like it is every time we talk. And anywhere that you see this video, I'll also provide information on how to reach out to her website, social media, and things like that. So again, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. And we'll be I can't wait to see the new product that comes out, and I'll be looking forward to the things that you have going on in the future.
Thank you, Courtney. So glad our paths crossed.
Me too. All right. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
And anywhere that you see this video, I'll also provide information on how to reach out to her website, social media, and things like that. So again, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. And we'll be I can't wait to see the new product that comes out, and I'll be looking forward to the things that you have going on in the future.
Thank you, Courtney. So glad our paths crossed.
Me too. All right. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.